Hi.
Hello, everybody.
It's me, Mrs. Kasha Davis.
And me, Dixie Longate, your Tupperware lady.
Oh, my.
All right, now, speaking of, all right, so what's the sweetest thing that a fan has ever said to you?
There's one that, because I speak about the fact that I'm sober, and there are people that say that my sharing of my story has saved their life.
Amazing.
And I mean, what better,
Yeah.
thing is, could somebody say to you? And then just recently at DragCon, somebody said, because of those of us that stand up and we perform and we share our stories and we're in drag, that person feels better to just come out of their home, that they have come out of their depression, that they feel empowered to find their fabulous self.
That's awesome.
So, that's the true gift of doing this for me.
Yeah, it's got to touch you in a way that you're like, this is something that it gives back to you. You're doing something that is it's fun and amazing and gracious, but then you see this constant reinforcement all the time of something coming back to you and sort of celebrating what you're doing. That's amazing.
And now I'm going to ask you, what about you? That same question.
I have been so lucky. I do most of my audiences around the country, because I've been around the country for years. I've been actually in 5 different countries doing my show, and I have all sorts of different experiences where people coming up. I've had somebody named their horse after me, which is so sweet. I swear to God, it's a nice thing. People have told me that they were going to get a divorce. They saw my show, and I have a message of finding your adventure and finding something that's positive to do, so that you don't get stuck in a rut. In my second show, which is Never Wear a Tube Top While Riding a Mechanical Bull, and 16 Other Things I Learned While I Was Drinking Last Thursday.
I did see that one.
That was fun.
Yes.
And in that show, it's about what's holding you back? What have you put in front of yourself as a barrier to hold you back from doing the things you want to do? Because everybody has dreams, everybody has goals, and then at some point we go, oh, I'm not supposed to do that.
Right.
And we shut ourselves off. And the people that we look to, that we emulate, that we go, oh my God, look at Lady Gaga, look at Steve Jobs, look at Beyonce, look at these Oprah Winfrey, these big leaders in our worlds. They're all the people that just said, oh, I'm going to keep doing it.
Right.
No, people told them no, and they just kept going anyway. And I believe that everybody has that in them, and we're so, in society, kind of put in this place that people say no, and you go, oh, okay, I can't do that. And you kind of go, oh, well, why not? They did it, and look at them.
Right.
And so I had a family, a husband and wife that came up, and they said, we literally were about to get a divorce. And this show and changing perspective and finding the adventure, this is making us, we're gonna set up a framework for what we're gonna do that's gonna change us so that we can be better people for ourselves and to each other.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I've had a couple of people that have said, I was close to the end, and because of some positive messages in my show, they said, no, there's no value in me ending this, because everybody in my experience has value, and the world, you are here for a reason. You're there without you. In the world misses you. You're a piece of the whole ripple effect that is part of this world. And with you gone, you're not able to give what you were put here on earth to give.
And we're connected.
We're all connected.
And we're connected, and we're available to help one another when we're connected to that positivity. Yeah. I think that message is what I gravitate towards your performances, because it's fun and it's fabulous, but that other night, the moment when you started to speak on that and the loving yourself and the positivity and sharing that positivity with others, you can hear a pin drop, and you can see a tear in people's eyes. And that is the power of theater. That is the power of public speaking and of drag. But truly, it is often said, love yourself, do what you love, follow your dreams. Right. But what is not said is that it's not necessarily always going to happen in the time that you think. Right. And I love that is part of the messaging, is what I learned, is that I thought it was going to be my time, my way, and I was going to control it. But when I started to just enjoy what I was doing and I was grateful for what I had and what was happening, like this moment, then things begin to build and more comes your way. Things
open up, and it's often really hard to go, oh, just be yourself, or just do something great. Oh, you're valuable. But a lot of people just say, I don't feel that way. And they have this reinforcement in their head that they keep saying this record keeps playing over and over again. I'm like, I'm not enough, I'm not valuable, there's nothing that's good about that. And you got to break that record in your head and just go, you know what? Every little single tiny little positive thing I do every day means something to me and means something to somebody else. And you never know what little thing you do will affect somebody positively. You never know, a single smile that you pass somebody on the street, you smile. And so I'll never forget this little story. I was in New York City years ago, and I was doing my show off Broadway originally. And I was walking down the street in the morning, and I'm a Southern gal, so New York City was a big change for me. And I was walking down the street, I'm saying hi to people, and I said hi to this lady. She was out on her stoop, sweeping the stoop. So I'll never forget, it was on 54th Street, and I was walking toward where Broadway is, and I was walking down, and she sweeped the stoop, and I said, good morning, and she said, wait a minute, get back here. And I was scared to death. I was like, oh my God, what happened? And I backed up and was like, can I help you? And she said, what did you just say to me? And I said, good morning. And she goes, I have lived in New York City my entire life. No one has ever said good morning to me. Thank you so much. You have just made my day. Have a good one. And I will never, ever forget that.
Right.
It was a simple thing of saying good morning that struck her so much that she had to take a moment to go, holy crap, that's never happened before.
Right.
And it was so simple, just be like, good morning. And it changed her day. To what degree, I don't know. I never will know. But that
changed your day, too.
And it changed my day. Listen, I'm 12 years later, I still remember that moment. And it's those little things that you kind of forget that, oh no, they're there. And everything you do affects other people and it can positively impact them. But you got to get away from that place of going, oh, that's a horrible, doubtful self-talk of like,
Right.
I'm not enough, I'm not valuable, you are always valuable to somebody.
And it is so easy to fall into that because it's like a wet blanket that's cozy.
Yeah.
You know, when you have that negative self-talk, it's familiar.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more uncomfortable to think I can or I will at some point. And so one of the tangible things is writing out what's good. You know,
Oh, God,
you
yeah.
know, and making that list so that you have that daily, you know, you're in that day and you're in that moment of the positivity.
Yeah.
And as you say, sharing that smile. I wrote a song for Imagination Station, which is the Drag Story Hour, and it's Your Gift is Your Smile.
Oh
You
my
know,
Lord,
you
we're on
know,
the same connection. We are, listen.
We are, yeah, because you can share that. You can be in, how many times have you been in line, like you were mentioning with New York City, you'll be in line at a grocery store and you just happen to smile at somebody because you get frustrated. Maybe they're writing a check because nobody writes a check. Well, you might, but they're writing a check.
The ones for that vibrator.
You know, and you get frustrated because you're in a hurry, but you really don't know what's going on in that other person's life. You have no idea what's happening with the person who's going slowly through, you know, an intersection, and you're frustrated.
Yeah.
But if you just slow down for a moment and realize they have something going and be in that moment.
Yeah.
You know what? This is a nice little moment for us. We're driving down the road. We're enjoying the scenery.
Yes, change the way you look at the world in that moment, and exactly what you're saying. You know, instead of focus on the bad, you focus on the good and try to find a thing like, oh, you know, yes, I'm behind somebody that's taking forever to turn. You know what? I'm sitting here looking around, look at this beautiful weather, look at something that's going on, look at, you know, the fact that I get to own a car and be driving around, and
Right.
that there are roads paved to be able to get me to the destination I want to go. Like, there's always a way to be able to focus on. I do a thing called 60-second honk and tonk. If I'm getting real frustrated, I literally will drop everything I'm doing. And it happens every once in a while. I get like super frustrated about one thing or another, and then I stop. And then I have a couple songs that are my go-to songs on my phone, and I will put it on, and I will just start dancing. One of them is called Dancing right now. It's Kylie Minogue, and it's so fun. And I put that song on, and I just stop what I'm doing, and I just dance around like an idiot. Full out for like a minute, and then go back to what I'm doing. And it just, everything in my head clears.
Yeah.
I sweat a little bit. I work up a shine, and then I'm like, great, all right, my breathing is heavier, and I'm
Shake it
all right,
off.
good. Shake it off, and go back to it.
It's a form of meditation.
Yeah.
People use exercise, people use dance, people use literal meditation, but it's centering yourself. And Max, our dog, has taught me that. You know, just be where your feet are, all four.
Yeah. Love that. Be where your feet are. But that's such a good way to look at it. Because sometimes your feet are on the ground, and sometimes they're like hanging over the side of the bed when you're like laying down and there's somebody over you and it's like, oh, Paul, you know, just throw the thing and he shoots at it. But
Do you wear your shoes during that? Or?
Best advice my mama ever gave me. Always have good shoes, because if the sex is bad, you can always still look at the shoes and be like, amazing, gorgeous.
You have beautiful shoes.
Thank you. You're so
great
sweet.
shoes.
Well, they always say have a good foundation.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it.
And so
Mine are made of bricks.
I always wear my shoes in bed, so that way when I'm having sex, I mean not when I'm going to sleep alone, which is hardly ever.
Yeah.
But I'll look down, I'll be like, amazing. So even if he's foraging for food and it's not going well down there, he thinks I'm complimenting him when really I'm just looking at how pretty my shoes are. Amazing,
And it's great because you can get away real quick with the shoes on.
You
too.
can. can, because there's nothing worse than when somebody comes home and you hear the key in the door and you're like, got to jump out the window, you know. And I was like, you take his boots and the jewelry that he left on the thing and you just jump. You're like, see ya. And then his wife's like, I'm home from the trip early, you know, and you're like, oh, gotta go. Yeah, it's so uncomfortable.
It was just one day early I got home.
Oh, you, is that you?
Yeah, it was.
I thought the familiar perfume.